Hello YouTube, it's Si here from Si Moto Photo. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. I hope I might earn your subscription today with this review. Today we're taking out the Tiger 900 Rally Pro. This is a bike I've been wanting to take out for quite a while. It's a bike back at the shop that we get people asking about all the time, and I want to find out for myself what all the fuss is about. So come on out with me, we'll take it for a ride. Right, so what's it all about then? What's my first impressions like? Well, I've been on the bike now for about 40 minutes, and the initial impressions I got on the bike is the seat's quite hard on it. So, you know, when you compare it to the 1200 Rally and GT, you'll find that the seat's quite firm, but after 40 minutes I've not got an unbum. I'm not suffering for the harder seat. You know, in my experience in the past, you know, a hard seat can actually be quite a good thing when you're doing quite a bit of miles on the bike. So, although when I sat on it immediately I thought, oh, this is quite hard, I don't think it's a bad thing. The bike's really narrow-waisted, so right at your legs here, there's, you know, your legs are not splayed wide apart. It's quite a narrow bike to sit on, which is a good thing. The seat height's about I think it's either 880mm when the seat's in the high position, or 860mm when the seat's in the low position. Now I've got the seat in the low position, and I'm 6 foot. I've got a 32-inch trouser leg, and I'm flat-footed when the seat's in the low position. So just to give you an idea, you know, what the height's like on it. The Rally version is a little bit taller than the GT version because it's got more off-road suspension, more travel. What's the power like? It's actually really impressive. You know, when you're jumping from a bike, this has got 94 horsepower, 97 PS and 87 newton meters of torque. So when you're jumping from a bike like a 1200, you know, one of the concerns would be, you know, how powerful is it? You know, dropping almost 50 dropping more than 50 horsepower down to the 94 in this one versus the 150 in the 1200. But do you know what? It's absolutely more than ample for the road. I'm not feeling as if this bike's underpowered in the slightest. It's got great pickup, as you can see. It's got really good pickup, and again, this bike is blessed with the T-Plane triple engine. And if you haven't ridden this engine, you have to get out and get a shot of it. It's just an intoxicating noise. It's so much fun to ride. It's such an involving rider's bike. An engaging engine, loads of fuel through the back tyre. It's just a joy to ride. It really is. I know I keep waxing lyrical about this engine, but it really is a masterpiece that Triumph have come up with here. It's so nice to ride. The Rally Pro version, which this one is, gets a few other extras that the standard Rally doesn't get. For example, you get a centre stand with this bike, you get engine crash bars with it, and you get a really cool feature. You get heated seats and you get heated bars, and it's just gorgeous sitting in this seat just now with the heated bars on and the heated seat on. I'm in absolute comfort here. There's plenty of wind protection from the front as well. With the screen's adjustable, you can move the screen up and down. Now I've got the screen in the high setting at the minute, and it's perfectly fine for me. I'm getting no unclean air at all hitting me. I can feel a little bit in my shoulders because it's quite a narrow screen, but it's, you know, it's absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry about it not having much protection versus the bigger bikes, because it does. It's lovely, but it's superb. Now I'm running in a set of it's Bridgestone A41 tyres that are on it, which are good tyres, but the road's really sort of mucky today, really damp and mucky, so I'm not, you know, putting it right through its paces to let you see, you know, how it grips, because it's just a wee bit too dangerous today. But so far so good. They feel fine, especially given the state of the surface at the minute. But the bike also comes, it's got a quick shifter, and it's really smooth, really butter smooth. And listen to that noise. Just love that noise. It's so nice. The way it's just so similar to 1200. The way it picks up power, it's so torquey and mid-rangey. It's and it's where you want it to be. When you've got a road bike, you know, all this top end power, it's a waste on a road bike. You know, by the time you get into the access the power on the bike, or the fun part of the power range on the bike, you're doing illegal speeds and you're just risking getting your licence taken off you. And how much fun's that? It's just no thanks. I'd rather be keeping my licence and being on the road. And this is where all the power lies in the 900. It's this mid-range and bottom end grunt. So this is 5th gear, so let's just take it down to 30 miles an hour, and I'll open it up in 5th gear and just let you see the grunt here. So that's a 5th gear pull from 30 miles an hour. Fantastic. So it does not lack power at all for the road. It's absolutely more than enough for anybody, whether you're a novice rider or whether you're an experienced rider. You're going to find the power from this bike absolutely fine. Now I wanted to, you know, this bike came to my attention, well, in fact, this bike came to my attention because lots and lots of people that were coming into the shop were asking for this bike. Probably every second person that comes into the shop is asking about the Tiger 900. And I'm like, why is this bike so popular? And it really hit home with me because I've got a very good friend, Ali. How you doing, Ali? I hope you're watching, and I hope you don't mind me sharing your story. But Ali, who is a very good friend of mine, he's a big, tall chap. He must be 6'3", 6'4". He's a big, tall guy. He's just retired. Recently, he's retired or is about to retire. But he's a very fit guy. He's always out doing exercise and big long walks and going everywhere. Well, he'd a BMW R1250 GS Adventure, and if anybody, you know, could fit this bike and handle this bike, it was Ali. But he was going away last year with his son, who had a Ducati Multistrada, and they were going over to do the Pyrenees, I believe, do a bit of touring, and Ali was really looking forward to going over with his son. And so he was away over for, I think it was about 10 days or so. But when he came back, he was down at the shop, and I bumped into him. I said, how did you get on? How was the trip? He said, oh, I loved it. It was great fun, great spending some time with my son as well. It was magic. And I said, how did you find the bike? And he said, oh, well, I sold it when I came back. And I said, you sold it when you came back? Why? What happened? And he said, no, it was just too heavy. When you get a full tank of fuel in it and you've got all your weight in the bags, it weighs a blooming ton. And I think Ali had maybe one or two we sort of nearly damaging it or bumping it just because of the weight that was involved in it. And Ali said, he's finished with the big bikes. The next bike on his radar is a sort of mid-size adventure bike. And I thought, you know what, that's why everyone loves these bikes. And I'm hearing it more and more when people come in. They're just so much easier to live with. They're easier to manoeuvre about. They're easier to move about the garage, move about the car park, put it on its centre stand. It's just an easier bike. And the sacrifice is you're dropping loads of power, but would you miss it? I don't think so. I think this has got more than enough for anybody. And it's super nice to ride. It's going around these corners lovely, absolutely gorgeous. And again, this comes with Triumph backlit switches and things like that on it as well. So you're not sacrificing any of the spec that you get on the bigger bikes. The only thing that you're not getting, perhaps, that the big 1200s, GTs and rallies and things like that I've got, is the electronic suspension. But it's got really good quality off-road suspension on this one, and it's fully adjustable, and it's dead easy to do it. There's 3 dials that are easy to turn with your hands on the fork, on the top of the forks here, and also there's a preload adjuster that sticks out the side on the back for the back suspension. So there's plenty of adjustability there. And if you're anything like me, I kind of set my suspension once and leave it. Once you find the right, maybe take a wee day or two just to figure out what you like, what settings you enjoy, set it and leave it. But what a bike. I'm thoroughly enjoying riding this, actually. It's fantastic. So the Rally Pro version comes with 6 modes, including 2 off-road modes, one of them being Pro and one of them being just a standard off-road mode. Now what that will do is sort of you know, change your throttle response. It'll make it a little less twitchy for when you're going over bumps and things like that off-road, just so that you're not twisting the throttle hard and shooting off unnecessarily. You know, it changes the mapping and things like that, and also it'll intervene with your ABS and your traction control just to sort of optimise it in an off-road setting. So I thought I'd give this a wee go. It's a track that I use quite regularly. You've maybe seen it popping up in other reviews. There's a couple of wee off-road sections we'll do today, so I just want to just have a wee go over a sort of loose terrain to see how this bike handles, and it's really nice. I tell you what, it's so nice having the narrow bike between your legs, you know, the standover, when you feel really in control of the bike underneath you, and I can see why, you know, a bike like this is more suited to an off-road situation than even the bigger 1200s. It's just easier to manage. It's not intimidating in the slightest. And I think, you know, one of the things I would encourage anybody to do if they bought one of these bikes is to go and give it a wee shot on different types of roads, and different types of, you know, disused forestry trails, you know, like kind of off-roady roads, because the bike is super capable, and you know you're not even scratching the surface of what the bike can do going on roads like this. But it's great fun just to go and try things that are a wee bit different. But this is lapping this up really easily, so it's a great bike for doing this type of work on. This is where the T-Plane triple engine comes into its own. The tractability, you know, when you're on off-road, you get very little wheel slip, just because you can feel exactly what the back wheel's doing, with, you know, through the throttle. It's so manageable. It's not slipping up and spinning out on me. The Rally Pro's also got the sun guard on it, you know, in case you do sort of come a crop or go over anything. Just gives you a little bit of protection underneath, and it's also got a centre stand on it for, you know, your chain maintenance, and then for cleaning it as well when you get back home after doing stuff like this. So it's really versatile, the Rally Pro. It's got, you know, everything you need is an all-round package for both on-road and off-road, and it's a real pleasure to ride this. Actually, I just can't get over how light it is in comparison to the bigger bikes. It's so much easier to handle, and this narrow waist is really quite confidence inspiring. Kind of just, you know, when you're standing over it, what a joy, what an absolute joy to ride. You know, this big 21-inch front wheel on the road, you know, there's always a compromise when you've got a 21-inch front wheel. There's always a compromise in terms of how quick it steers. But what counteracts that with this bike is how light it is and how easy it is to manage. It's eating this road up, no problem with a 21-inch front wheel. So as a road bike as well as an off-road bike, it's such a complete package, this bike. You know, you really can do it all. It's such an easy bike to use, and you know, there's a lot to be said for that. You know, if you're going out to your bike and you feel that your bike's a bit hard work, and you know you're maybe not enjoying it as much as you could enjoy it just because it's heavy, it puts you off riding it, and you don't use it as often as you would, you know, as often as you should or you could. And when you're riding something like this, there's nothing intimidating about it at all. It's a pleasure to get it out, and if you're enjoying using it, you'll use it more, and that's what it's all about. You know, that really is what it's all about. It's how it makes you feel. and if it makes you feel like riding it, then it's the right bike for you. So I definitely think that, you know, or I definitely can understand now why this bike is so popular. It's just a great package. Well, what's my thoughts on the bike? Do you know, today's been a revelation for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed taking this bike out today. It's been a real surprise, and it's been a real dark horse for me in terms of a bike I've never really considered. But, you know, in terms of ergonomics, it's absolutely superb. The seat was a wee bit firm to start with, but I think you know, it came to its own later on. It wasn't uncomfortable in the slightest. With the heated seats on the Rally Pro and the heated bars and the wind protection that this screen offers, it's a lovely place to sit. It's got a 20 litre fuel tank, so you should get 200 miles plus out the tank, easy peasy. You're considering an adventure bike, but maybe you think that the size and weight's a wee bit intimidating, and you're thinking, I'd like something a wee bit more manageable. The Triumph Tiger 900 is definitely the answer. It's a great bike, a really, really nice bike to ride. But anyway, listen, thanks again for tuning into the channel, and thanks again to the guys at West Coast Triumph Glasgow for giving me access to these bikes. You know, if you've got anything you want to see in the channel, let me know. Let me know in the comments section what you think of the bike. Have you test driven one? What were your thoughts on it? And keep your eyes peeled for further Triumph content coming in the future. So please give the video a like. Stick a comment down for anything you want me to do in the future, and if you would subscribe to the channel, it helps me out no end, and I would really, really appreciate it. But thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next review. Over and out.